Your first initial's fine.
All right. First initial J, last name Dougherty, Doughgerty.
Good morning, Mr. Dougherty. Are you employed?
Yes, sir.
And where are you employed?
I am currently employed with the federal government Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives.
And what do you do in your current status as an employee of the federal government?
I'm a federal agent tasked with criminal investigations.
Okay, and how long have you worked in that capacity?
I've been there with the Bureau for about almost 3 years.
And were you employed prior to your employment with the the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearm Explosives Department?
Yes, I was.
And what was your employment?
I was employed with the City of Atlanta Police Department.
And in what capacity did you work for the City of Atlanta Police Department?
I was a sworn officer.
Okay. And if you could just talk into that mic, everything is being transposed.
Is that better?
Important thing. And how many years in total were you employed with the Atlanta Police Department?
I was employed with the Atlanta Police Department for approximately 12 years.
And when did you begin with the Atlanta Police Department?
I began in 2010.
And when did you end?
I ended about 2022.
And were you post-certified during your entire time with the Atlanta Police Department?
Yes, I was post-certified.
What was your official title prior to leaving?
Prior to leaving, I retired out as a sergeant.
And did you often work with a partner while at the Atlanta Police Department?
Yes, I did for some of my career.
Please tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury who that partner was.
My partner typically was a C. Munson.
And how often would you work with him?
I probably worked with him approximately 5 years on and off between different units on the department.
And I want to direct your attention to the date of Tuesday, October 1st, 2015. Do you remember working that day?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And what shift were you working around about that time?
On that given night, I believe we were working a shift which is like late evening into early morning. So we were working probably approximately 6 p.m. to about 2 a.m. in the morning.
And do you recall patrolling around or about the area of Confederate Avenue and Boulevard Avenue, Southeast Atlanta, Georgia?
Yes, I do.
And can you please tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you recall about patrolling on that day?
On that given night, we were patrolling Confederate Avenue coming up to Boulevard, and we witnessed a vehicle make a traffic infraction in front of us.
And what was the traffic infraction to your recollection?
To my recollection, they were in the left-hand turn lane of Confederate Avenue, and they proceeded into the right-hand turn lane to turn right. So they made a right-hand turn from that lane without signaling to proceed north on Boulevard.
And at this time, when you're observing this traffic infraction, are you in a marked patrol vehicle?
Yes.
And are you also in uniform?
Yes, we're in clearly marked Atlanta Police uniform.
And when you saw this traffic infraction, what, if anything, did you do? Well, let me ask this question. Who's driving?
My partner Munson would have been driving that night.
And when you did see this traffic infraction, what, if anything, did you do at that time?
We would have illuminated the emergency equipment on our vehicle to initiate a traffic stop on the vehicle.
And did you initiate a traffic stop on that vehicle with your partner that day?
Yes, we did. We initiated a traffic stop.
And did you get out of the vehicle at the time of that traffic stop when you initially stopped it?
No, we didn't get out of the vehicle initially. Typically what we did is when we did initiate a traffic stop, me and my partner, because it is dark at night, we would take the spotlight and illuminate the interior of the vehicle from the back to be able to see the individuals inside and kind of assess what they're doing. On that given night, we observed the two individuals inside the vehicle begin to shift around a lot and turn around and continually look at us. Typically when that happens, we kind of hesitate to get out because one, it could mean either someone...
Speculation.
Overruled.
One, typically it could signal that maybe they're looking to ambush the officers walking up.
Sustained.
Without saying, I'll ask you a different question. you did not get out the vehicle, did anything happen after that?
Yes.
What happened in that particular incident when you stopped and didn't get out?
So they shifted around. We're looking back. We decided not to get out because usually people fled at that point, and that is indeed what they did.
And when the vehicle, and what kind of vehicle did you stop?
We stopped a black Chevy Monte Carlo.
And do you recall where, in proximity to where you initially noticed them, that you stopped that black Monte Carlo?
I don't know the exact distance. I know we initially saw them at Confederate and Boulevard, if you're familiar with the area. And then the stop was actually conducted at not Moreland, I'm sorry, I misspoke, Boulevard and Glenwood.
Okay. And how many people were inside the black Monte Carlo?
Inside of the black Monte Carlo, we could see 2 people when we illuminated it.
And when you observed the vehicle take off after you stopped it initially, can you describe whether it moved fast or slow?
I do not remember the exact rapid or how fastly it took off. I just know that it left the traffic stop.
Okay. Did you follow after the vehicle when it left the spot where it initially was stopped?
Yes, we did.
And did you continue to have activated your emergency equipment, being lights and the siren?
Yes, we would have left all the lights, sirens, everything on to, notify the public also.
And prior to leaving, in what direction did the vehicle travel when it left from the stop that you initially made of the vehicle?
It initially continued north on Boulevard towards I-20, where it made a right-hand turn onto I-20 eastbound and picked up speed to get onto the freeway.
And as the vehicle is taking this path, are you able to observe any movement or anything inside the vehicle?
Yes, a black glove, or what appeared to be a black glove, went flying out the passenger window. It was merging onto the freeway.
During traffic stops, do you typically speak with dispatch?
Typically, yes, we would speak with dispatch during a traffic stop.
And did you radio dispatch at all during this incident, this stop?
I did radio dispatch.
And what did you communicate with dispatch?
I would have communicated with dispatch the stop and that we had one fleeing from us. Typically, they ask for traffic conditions, reason for the stop, things of that nature, conditions of the road, stuff like that.
During the time that you were speaking with dispatch, were you ever contacted by Unit 2697?
I would have been contacted by a supervisor. I'm not sure 100% which supervisor it was.
Okay. And what, if anything, were you advised to do in the course of your pursuit?
Objection calls for hearsay.
Effect on the listener, Your Honor.
Can you ask it a different way if it doesn't call for hearsay?
Really can't, Your Honor, at this point, but I'll move on. Was there ever a time during the course of your pursuit of the Monte Carlo that you stopped pursuing it?
Yes, there was.
And what, if anything, occurred at that time when you stopped pursuing the Monte Carlo?
When we stopped pursuing the Monte Carlo, it had it basically wrecked out. It had wrecked into a guardrail. When you exit I-20 eastbound on Flat Shoals there's a guardrail and a stop sign. It had ran through the stop sign and came to a stop at the guardrail.
Right. And when it stopped at this guardrail, the occupants remain inside, or did they do anything else?
At that point, the occupants jumped out of the vehicle and began to flee on foot.
In which directions did the occupants of the vehicle go?
The driver fled northbound on Flat Shoals, and the passenger fled southbound on Flat Shoals.
And did you and your partner pursue?
Yes, we did pursue.
Did you pursue by car?
We both pursued on foot.
And did you have a description? Did you ever get a description of those individuals, the passenger and the driver?
I'm sure we would have gotten a description by looking at them. I don't recall that exact description that night at this point.
Would looking at a copy of the report associated with this matter refresh your recollection?
It may, yes.
All right. Now approaching the witness with State's Exhibit 32 MM, which has already been provided in discovery. Take a moment to review that, and when you had a chance to have your memory refreshed, you can look back up at me, and then I'll continue asking you questions. All right, has your memory been refreshed?
Yes, sir.
What was the description of the passengers that you obtained from that from this incident?
The occupants of the vehicle were both wearing black clothing.
And do you have any other descriptors about them?
I believe the passenger was wearing a black shirt and black pants, and the driver was described as wearing a black hoodie and black pants.
What was their race?
Both were black males.
What was their what is their gender?
Black males.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I missed that part. And did you later come to obtain an identity for these individuals?
Yes, we did.
And what was the identity of the driver?
The driver was Mr. Deamonte Kendrick.
And what was the identity of the passenger?
The passenger was Mr. Martinez Arnold.
And as these passengers, as Mr. Kendrick and Mr. Arnold are fleeing on foot, did you ever give any verbal commands to them?
Yes, I was chasing behind Mr. Arnold, and I did give him verbal commands to stop.
Did they stop?
No.
And I should say, did they stop at your command?
No, they did not stop at my command.
And as you gave chase to Martinez Arnold, can you describe where he went during this chase? Is there any location that you followed him to?
When he fled south on Flat Shoals, he dipped in behind the houses to the left, went behind one of the properties there, one of the houses, chased him to about a fence. He hopped the fence. At that time, when he jumped over the fence, he stumbled and fell. Me with all my gear on, it takes us a little longer to get over a fence. Couldn't see his hands, so I used my city-issued taser to try and stop him. The first time I fired it, it was ineffective. It didn't make good connection. The second time I fired it, it did make good connection, basically making him immobilized and giving me time to get over the fence to apprehend him.
And after, during the course of that interaction, was he injured in any way to your recollection?
To my recollection, I do not know of him being injured, no.
Would you please pull that mic a little closer to your mouth?
I'm sorry.
Speak louder.
After detaining and apprehending Mr. Arnold, did you remain where you were behind that fence in Wood area?
No, after apprehending Mr. Arnold, I would have walked back to the car.
Did you walk alone, or did you take him with you?
I would have taken him with me.
And do you recall the address associated with the home to which he
I don't recall the address, no.
Would that have been noted in the report?
It may have been.
Do you want to take a moment to look at it?
I'll check.
What was the address?
The address was 1909 Flat Shoals Road.
Okay. And was Mr. Arnold searched incident to arrest?
Yes.
Was he searched by you?
Yes.
And what did he find? What did you find, if anything?
I don't remember right now the exact things I found. I'm going to have to refer to my report.
Refer to your report. Look back up if you don't need to. Has your memory been refreshed?
Yes, sir. All right. When I searched him, I found in his front pocket would have been approximately 6.6 grams of suspected marijuana, and his right front change pocket of his pants was a small round pill with the markings 230 on it, which was suspected oxycodone. And then in his, I guess in the rest of his pants or his person, we also located $45.40 and a cell phone and a cell phone charger.
After returning to the space where you initially stopped, where the vehicles stopped, did you ever see your partner again?
When I returned to the car, my partner was not there. He was still chasing.
Did he ever apprehend the driver, Mr. Kendrick?
Yes, he did.
And do you know if force was used to apprehend him?
I believe he did use his taser to apprehend him.
And was he injured as a result of the chase and pursuit? That being Mr. Kendrick?
I do not know if he was injured or not.
Do you know if Mr. Kendrick was searched incident to his arrest?
Objection, Your Honor, counsel speculation.
Absolutely nothing.
I don't know if you
Overruled.
don't know whether he has personal knowledge.
I mean, when it says, do you know? Personal knowledge, please.
Do you have personal knowledge if Mr. Kendrick was searched incident to arrest?
I did not search him. It would have been my partner.
And was there any other, do you recall if, when seeing Mr. Kendrick, him having any kind of garments around his neck?
I can't say that I remember, no.
Would you have detailed that, would that have been detailed in the report?
It may have been.
Would you please take a moment to look at it and then look back up at me when your memories
I'm going to object to that in his report. It still calls it hearsay.
No, Your Honor. That would be hearsay.
Opinion would be outside his personal knowledge. He already testified he would see him.
Your Honor, he was personally at the scene.
Overruled.
All right. You may ask the question.
In the report, it details that while he was being treated by Grady EMS, he had a black and red bandana around his neck, Mr. Kendrick's.
After returning back to the location where the car had run into the guardrail, did you have an opportunity to look around or about it?
Yes.
Did you also have an opportunity to look inside?
Yes.
And after you had the opportunity to look inside of the vehicle, did you see anything of evidentiary value to you?
Yes, we did.
What did you see at the time that you looked inside of the vehicle?
There were 2 firearms in plain view in the vehicle, and we ended up calling crime scene photo technician out to take photos of the vehicle.
Was there anything else of importance inside of the vehicle that you took note of?
Not before searching it. I mean, we wouldn't know.
Were the firearms loaded or not loaded?
Both firearms were loaded with 1 round in the chamber.
And what type of firearms were located inside?
There was a 40 caliber Smith & Wesson pistol, and there was a 7.62 AK style rifle in the front seat also.
In your training and experience, are you taught to run checks on firearms?
Yes, we are.
And did you do that?
It would have either been me or my partner Munson. Yes.
Okay. And what were the results of any check, if any, of the firearms?
That
Sustained.
Now I'm going to approach you with what has been previously identified as state's exhibits 1 mm, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 10, 12 mm, 13 mm, 19 mm, 20 mm, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 31, all under the phonetic subset of MM. Alphuric subset MM. Would you take a second? Well, let me ask you this. Have you had a chance to review those exhibits prior to coming to court today?
Yes, I did.
And what do you recognize those exhibits to be?
They look to be photos from the crime scene there that the crime scene tech took of them.
And do those photos that you have in your hand now that have been previously identified reflect the crime scene and the things that you testified to earlier as you remember it to be?
Yes, they do.
And do they fairly and accurately depict the crime scene as you remember it to be?
Yes.
Have those photos been changed or altered in any way?
No.
All right. Your Honor, at this time, the state now moves to admit the previously identified exhibits into evidence and subject to your ruling, request permission to publish.
Those are admitted, and you may publish.
All right. All right. While that's being prepared, I want to ask you a few extra questions and want to ask you, when you were at the crime scene, did you, in fact, call for the crime scene ID tech?
I don't remember who called for them. I know we called for them, though.
And why was Grady called out to the scene?
Again, I don't remember them being injured, but if we had Grady on scene, according to the report, it's because they complained of injury, and we would render medical attention to them.
Okay. And, excuse me, and as they were being rendered medical attention, did they continue to remain in custody?
Yes, they had been in custody the whole time.
All right. All Now showing you, it's going to populate on the screen. Now showing you brief indulgence. And as the scene of the crime was being processed, did you continue to, by the ID tech, did you continue to remain present?
Yes, we'd have been on scene the whole time.
Okay, and the vehicle, you indicated it was taken, there were photos taken, but did you personally conduct the search of the vehicle, or was that done by another person?
I don't recall who actually searched the vehicle.
All right, so now showing you, and I'm going to reclaim these, and you can look at the screen as the photos come up. Starting with State's Exhibit 1MM. And by when the crime scene photos are being taken, are you the person or the other, or your partner being the person to direct where the photos are, or are you doing other things?
I mean, usually the crime scene techs would kind of know they do their own thing, but we would direct them like, hey, we need photos of inside of the vehicle or the firearms and things of that nature that were found.
All right. The in front of you is State's Exhibit 1MM. And can you see that clearly on that screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And going to publish this. Right. I'm going to enlarge it for you to see. And as I am doing this, I would like to ask you if with this particular exhibit, you recognize the vehicle that is on the screen with the blue lights.
Yes, I do.
All right. And do you recognize the vehicle that is beside it, that is in all black?
Yes, I do.
Is that the Monte Carlo that you described earlier in your testimony?
Yes, it is.
And what roadway are these two vehicles situated on?
That is going to be Flat Shoals.
All right. And now showing you State's 2MM. What direction is the view of the camera facing on Flat Shoals, cardinal direction-wise?
That would be a view of southbound.
Do you see anybody that resembles yourself in this exhibit?
Yes, I do.
Do you see anybody that resembles your partner in this exhibit?
I do.
I'm going to try to zoom in, see if it is, and there should be a wooden pointer behind you. I'm going to ask you to reposition with the court's permission to point out yourself and to point out your partner.
That would be me at the back of the car, and that would be my partner right there.
Showing you State's Exhibit 3MM, and the vehicle is this the guardrail that you were describing that the vehicle made impact with on that day?
Yes.
All right. Can you read off the driver's license driver's plate number associated with this vehicle?
Yes, it's a Georgia license plate, BXF3832.
And that is State's Exhibit 5MM. Showing you State's 8MM. Is this the side of the vehicle that you described Mr. Arnold exiting from when he ran and fled from the scene?
Yes.
Right. Showing you now 9MM. And this side of the vehicle, can you describe the condition of the front driver's side tire?
The tire appears to be flat.
Was it flat when the vehicle was being operated by Mr. Kendrick?
No.
Is it flat as a result of impacting with the after the impact?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Showing you now states 10 mm. What is being depicted? What is shown in this exhibit here?
In this exhibit here, I draw your attention to the floorboard under the steering wheel. You can see a silver object with black. That is going to be the .40 caliber Smith & Wesson pistol. And there's also what appears to be a Fanta bottle with a yellow label and a purple drink inside of it. I would suspect that to be.
Sustained.
Without saying suspicion, do you see a yellow bottle with a purple liquid inside of it?
Yes, I do.
All right. Do you see anything seated on the driver's seat?
Yes.
What do you see?
There's a cell phone with what appears to be an identification card on it.
All right. Now showing you states 12 mm. Please describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you see here.
In this photo here, I see the AK-style rifle propped up against the middle console and a backpack on the passenger floorboard.
All right. Do you know if that backpack was searched at all?
I cannot recall if it was or not.
Okay. And from this photograph that you are looking at, now publishing states 13 mm. From this photograph, can you tell, looking at the radio or the steering wheel console, if there is still be on?
It appears to still be on.
All right. Showing you states 19 mm. Is this the cell phone that you were describing that you saw earlier with the identification card, just with a clear picture?
Yes, it's just a closer view.
All right. Showing you states 20 mm, excuse me. And using states 20 mm, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury the name on the identification card and for that?
The name is Deamonte Kendrick.
Showing you states 21 mm. Do you see a firearm in this photo?
Yes.
Is this one firearm that you that was collected that evening?
Yes, it is.
All right. Showing you states 22 mm, and I'm going to zoom in. Can you from the zoom tell what the make and model of that firearm is?
It's a Smith & Wesson, and it looks to be a model 4013 TSW.
Okay. And from this image, can you tell what the serial number is associated with this firearm?
It's a little hard to read. It appears to be VJJ9116, possibly.
Now showing you state 23 mm. Do you see a piece of clothing behind the driver with seat in this photo?
Yes.
Is that piece of clothing the black hoodie that was recovered from that vehicle that evening?
I don't recall if it was recovered or not, but it appears to be a black hoodie.
Is that the same black hoodie that was detailed in the report, at least?
I can't say to that. I don't know.
All right. Now showing you states 25. Do you see any gloves in the center console?
Yes.
And what color are the gloves that you see?
The glove appears to be black.
All right. Showing you states 26 mm. Is that still the same glove with better color perspective?
Yes, and it looks like there's another glove behind it.
Showing you states 27 mm. Can you describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what is depicted here?
Conviction here is suspected marijuana.
Showing you State's Exhibit 28mm. Can you describe for the ladies and gentlemen, is this a closer view of the serial number associated with the rifle-style firearm that was located in the vehicle?
Yes, it is.
And what is the make and model of this firearm?
Looks like the picture's cut off a little bit. It's a 75 Sporter, caliber 7.62. I can't see it's cut off. I can't see
What's the serial number?
the serial number is going to be the A0-1820-82RO.
Okay. Publishing for you. Excellent. A few more questions for you. Would like to ask you, after the two occupants of the vehicle were taken into custody, where were they transported?
They would have been transported to the Fulton County Jail.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, we did have Grady EMS out
Objection
there.
asked and answered.
Overruled.
We had Grady EMS on the scene, so as long as they're cleared by Grady, they would be transported to Fulton County Jail. If they deemed that they needed more medical attention, they would go to the hospital.
And the items, what was done with the vehicle, to your recollection, that was driven by them that evening?
The vehicle had been sent to impound.
And the items that were recovered from inside the vehicle, and what was done with those?
They would be transported by myself and Officer Munson to the city annex to be put into evidence.
With incidents that happened at the APD, that APD responds to, are they given APD case numbers?
Yes.
And do you know the APD case number associated with this incident?
Yeah, it'd be right here on the report in front of me.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what the APD case number is.
Is it okay if I read it right from there?
You can look at it or
Okay.
recall it.
All right.
Okay, what is that?
152740150.
And as it stands for this case, with respect to your involvement, did that conclude your involvement with this matter?
Yes.
State has no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, are there defense questions for this witness? Okay.
Good morning. Is it Agent Doherty?
Agent Doherty, yes.
Agent Doherty. Good morning, Agent Doherty. My name is Doug Weinstein. I'm the attorney for Deamonte Kendrick. So I have a few questions. You were, as you testified, that you are the person that apprehended Mr. Arnold, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you tased Mr. Arnold in order to apprehend him, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you knee Mr. Arnold in the back?
I don't recall that.
Did you spit on him?
No.
Would that have been appropriate to do?
Objection, Your Honor, relevant.
Sustained.
Would it have been appropriate if your partner kneed and spit on Mr. Kendrick after tasing him?
I'm going to object in the same grounds, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Okay. After this arrest, were you ever called to testify? And I'm speaking specifically regarding my client, Mr. Kendrick. After this arrest, were you ever called to testify at any hearing, trial, or sentencing for Mr. Kendrick?
I don't recall if I was or not.
Are you aware of Mr. Kendrick being sentenced for his possession of a firearm and serving time with regard to this incident?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, are there other defense attorneys with questions for this witness? All right, is there any redirect?
State has no redirect.
All right, Agent, thank you for your time, and you are excused.